I want to introduce Susie in greater detail in the chat so we don't waste any time. Please also meet Laura Stone and Sade Amherd. They are on my team and they will be providing you with technical support, logistics support. Please do not DM Susie or myself during the process because we don't always see that stuff. So message Laura or Sade. Laura and Sade, would you put our bios in the chat so that Susie and I can just get right to the point? Today we are talking about simple strategies you can use to boost book sales. This has been on our brain for a while, right, Susie? Just how can we help authors sell more books? And we wanted to do a really practical session for free and just share some stuff with you and get you thinking outside the box, but also some simple things that are actually, honestly, just in the box. Just things that you should be doing as par for the course that a lot of people aren't doing. And then Susie's also going to take us through an exercise today, which we are so lucky. Anytime we can get Susie to do an exercise to help us get out of our normal brain rut patterns is a good day. Susie, did you want to add anything before we get going?
No, I am just super excited to be here with everybody. I hope everyone is stretched and ready to dive in because we're going to have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay. So let me go ahead and get started. I want to start by asking you if you put in the chat, yes or no, are you happy with your book sales so far? And would Sade and Laura, would one of you put my bio in the chat just to make it so people have that? Thanks. Well, Amanda, you haven't released your book. So this is, I know, no book sales yet. Haven't released the book yet. Pre-orders now. Oh, interesting. We have pre-order. Oh, okay. Who's published? Who's got a published book? I know Amy does. No book yet. No, no for last one, Becky says, but just contracted with an agent for a memoir. Awesome. Congratulations. Amazing, Becky. Lisa says, have published before, working on latest book now. So, is anyone feeling frustrated with their book sales if you have published, is what I'm curious to know. And the second question, and this could apply since we have a room with some folks who are in the process of publishing or writing, what do you feel is your biggest book marketing challenge? What do you feel is your biggest book marketing challenge? I see some summer camp people here. That's lovely to see. Time constraints, Jane says. Visibility. Okay, Denise, yes. What else? What are some of your biggest challenges? Katie, reaching folks beyond my immediate network. Yes, yes. Building the audience. I'm seeing a theme, Susie.
Yep.
Building audience. Becky says, oh, not a moron. So Becky, I'm trying to learn Substack, but real job is time consuming. Yeah. So time, building audience. Okay. I'm sensing the theme here. All right. That's helpful information for us. So again, today, y'all, this is not a whole book marketing webinar here. I just want to talk about the simple stuff that I see people need to tweak that they can get done relatively simply. We're not going to be talking about building a huge audience today. We are going to be talking about very, very, very simple stuff. And we initially wanted this for folks who have already published and might not realize what simple things they can do to tweak. But I think if you do have a book coming out, then let's get that right from the start. That's a good way to be looking at that. Laura, if you wouldn't mind putting our little checklist in the chat, this is not a comprehensive marketing thing at all, y'all. Like that would take days. This is just some simple stuff I know we can do to tweak sales. So there's a checklist in the chat or coming in the chat that you can download. And that checklist is the stuff I want to go over today. All right. And the first thing I want to talk about is book marketing assets. So if you are just starting with this, this is stuff you're going to have to begin with. But when we publish, we tend to sort of get complacent with the images that we have up, our banners, our other images for social media, and then we just kind of leave them there. I see sometimes it'll still say book coming soon, and the book's been out for a year. There's these are just small things that we can do. What would you think if you went to see an author's website or to their social media and it said coming soon in 2021? You went there today. What would you think about that book and how active that author is with their community? And feel free to answer in the chat. I personally would think this person is not really keyed into their readership. This is an older book. They're done, they forgot about it, or it's not their priority. It's not their priority, right? So there's simple things that you can do to keep up with that. And one of them is do a little inventory of your marketing assets. And that's the first part of this little checklist. Again, this is just a simple knock this out in a day kind of stuff. Update your social media banners and also your profile pictures if you have one that's super old. I myself am getting my headshots this summer, updating those. I probably should have done it 2 years ago. I'm still good. I still look like me. But some people really don't look like themselves anymore. Incidentally, we have a free webinar that's up on YouTube with John D'Amato, who talks, he's to me, the very best author photographer there is. And he did a free webinar on this topic. So maybe we can also add that to the chat if anybody's interested. I could be patient with my staff while they manage all these things. So we want to update our social media banners instead of coming soon. What now available, or it could be maybe you have an accomplishment. I have a lot of authors in my community who've won awards, or they reached a major sales goal, um, or something else, something cool happened. Maybe you realize how many people you served, so you can add that, or it could just be the book itself. So we want to update those banners. You want to update your bio on social media. Does your bio say you're an author? Does your bio actually have your book? It's this is normally like a duh. Of course it does, AJ. There's so many people who did, right, Susie?
Totally.
Yeah. So many people who just, I don't know, forgot to put the book title in the bio. And then it's been years. So how are people supposed to know? you know? Or maybe your bio says forthcoming. And again, came out last year. These are the small things we need to do to show that being an author is a priority for you and that your book is a priority for you. The same with your bio on your website. Sometimes we wait a long time. I myself do this to update websites, but at least update the bio. You don't have to do a total overhaul of the website in order to make your bio current. I think that's important. And on your social media, how hard is it to figure out that you're an author? If you go to your LinkedIn page or your Instagram or your Facebook, do I have to dig really deep to find out that you're an author? Or is it prominent on your website? Is the book prominent? Or do I have to scroll to the bottom or try and figure out what page it is on your navigation? These are all things that tell you I'm an author, I'm serious, this is a book I'm proud of, this is a priority for me. These are simple things that you can do that tell readers that this is a book that they need to read. Here's another one. Have you updated your bio on Author Central? Does anyone have an Author Central account? Let's start there. How about that? All right, just put in the chat if you need to do an Author Central account. Please put it in the chat. Denise, okay. Yeah. You, who has a book coming out or out that does not have an Author Central account? Let's start there. Katie? Okay, Katie, you got to get on it. Katie, Becky, you have a book and you have no Author Central account? Does anybody need to know what an Author Central account is? Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's basic, Susie. Simple strategies. Author Central is a separate account that you need to set up. And that is when you're an author on Amazon, it has your bio. It can have other information about you, and then you notify Sometimes it happens automatically, but you usually have to notify once you set up the Amazon Central account. You notify Amazon, that's my book, and then it's listed in your library. It's a way for people to learn more about you. It's also a place where you can go learn about what's happening with your book. Once the book is actually live, it'll start to give you sales data, and that can be really, really important for you. But at a minimum, you want to put your picture, your bio, links, and there's other things that you can do with Author Central. So you want to make sure you have that because when I see that an author does not have an Author Central account, I wonder if they're a serious author. Okay, so I think that's important. Then later, I see you, Sue Barber. You need to update that bio on Author Central. I know you have one, so now you have a workbook coming out. And maybe, Sue, you want to talk about how many people you've helped with the visibility factor. Do you think, when's the last time you looked at your bio on Author Central, Sue?
It wasn't that long, but I need to update it with the upcoming workbook things. So yeah, I need to do that. I just got the cover announced, so we're getting there.
Yeah, that's great. And you can update the bio even if you haven't yet put the second book up. You do have to have the book up either in some form of listing. Doesn't have to be. So, Katie, you're good because I know you have a pre-order. You can set it up right now. It doesn't have to be that it's published. It just has to exist as a listing on Amazon. But let's freshen that up. Let's show people that you're active with that. Here's another piece for you. Add your book to your website's homepage, which I mentioned. I want to see it above the fold. I don't know why this happens, but I've seen people release their book without having their book cover on their website or any mention of their book. It should be such a big deal. It's such a big deal to get it done, and it should be prominent on your website. How many of you still haven't added your book to your website? Anyone? Oh, you all have it? You doing, Deborah, you got yours?
Mine's in process, happening right
In
now,
Okay. When does your book come out again?
September. Still
Okay.
reading,
Let
but it's in process.
Okay, awesome. And so then if it says coming soon and has those dates, I want you to put on the calendar
When to change it.
when to change it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Susie, what are some things that you did to freshen up some of those areas? Because your book has been out, what, 2 years now?
3 years in
My
September,
God,
end of
three?
September. Yeah.
Time flies, man.
Yeah, yeah. So I go back in every time I have a new way to articulate something that is inspired by a client interaction or a reader sending me a note or someone writing a review. I will always go back in and zhuzh all of my copy to reflect just this sort of new insight, this new energy. So it's just a nice practice to do even kind of on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and Susie's very active. Her book is as it rightly should be. It's a tremendous book and is the foundation of the work that she does. So she's actively promoting it all the time. But if once a week seems overwhelming to you, just put something on the calendar, maybe quarterly. I know this seems like, how does this translate to book sales? It does because people aren't looking at your stuff and seeing tumbleweeds and outdated stuff, and they know that you're serious about it. Susie's won awards, so you update when that happens, that sort of thing. Um, the other thing I wanted to point out is that I think it's important to get some fresh images for your book. So I mentioned John D'Amato earlier. He does what he calls book boudoir photos, and they're pretty gorgeous. But you can do your own. You can just do some, I'm not talking about that weird AI 3D book cover thing. We don't want that. Get the book in the wild, put it in different places, and shoot some fresh pictures of your book as well, the inside of your book, the spine of your book, the cover of your book, and you can Use those yourself or give them to your team. Don't give your team just two things that they can work with over and over. Freshen that up. I think it's really important. And then I also want to talk for a moment about Goodreads. Now, for nonfiction, it's not as useful, but I still think it's important. Goodreads, if you don't know what it is a social media platform for readers. And you can have an author profile on Goodreads. In fact, you should put one there so that no one puts it there for you. Let me just make that point really clear. You want to have yours, even if all you do is set it and forget it. Okay. You don't want to be in a situation where someone creates one for you, which has happened more times than I can count. On your Goodreads profile, you can include your bio, you can have chats, you can do a Q&A and post it there. You can do your own reviews. You can be as active as you want. Again, it's primarily fiction, but people are on there for nonfiction. The other reason is once you've reached a certain point on Amazon, because Amazon owns Goodreads, they will start pulling your review data over to your Amazon listing page. And if people click over there, you want them to be able to see you as an author there. Okay, so you want to set up your Goodreads author page. This doesn't have to take that long. You can pull the things over that you use in other places, and then at least you are an active member of that community, even if you aren't communicating with people on a regular basis. So Goodreads profile, and then if you have one, when's the last time you updated it? I think it's important to just have updated content in all the places. Have you done a little inventory to see what is your current bio in all the places? I think I had a really old bio somewhere and didn't realize it, and that was a problem for me, actually. So you need to keep that updated. If you're on LinkedIn, do you have a banner that shows that you're an author? Now, do you have featured content that has your book prominent? Featured content is fixed. You can choose what you want for that. It shows people more about your book. Sade is my marketing expert on my team, and she reminded me to tell you that you do need to have a professional LinkedIn to be able to do that. Um, and I recommend that if LinkedIn is a place where you're going to find a lot of people, it's definitely worth the investment for that professional version. But if you go to my LinkedIn, Write a Must Read, my book is prominent in featured content. It's the first thing. People should not have to dig, and it's not enough. You think, oh, if I just put author, what does that? I mean, you care about that, right, Susie? You care about being an author, but they care about the book itself. What's the book? What's the book? We need to know about the book. All right, so that's my little again, this we're just doing some super basic stuff. I want to shift gears now, and I want to go through the rest of the checklist a little bit later, and I want to have Susie take us through a little exercise here to get ready for that next bit about the Amazon listing.
So, what we're going to do is exit our left brain for a little bit, leap into our right brain. And this exercise is not an art class, it is an opportunity to send a taproot into your intuition by making something. And the goal here to sort of push the edges of how you normally think is to sort of expand and think about what your book description and how that revision process could look. So I'm going to put something in the chat. Don't panic. This, as you can see, is a sketch of a hat with a pipe, and you'll notice, so double click on it so you can make it big on your screen. I have this upside down for a reason. We're going to take some inspiration from Dr. Betty Edwards, who was the author of Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And we're going to leave this upside down so that your brain doesn't start labeling pieces of this drawing and saying to you, you can't draw that. You don't know how to draw a pipe. You don't know how to draw a band around a hat, etc. So what we're going to do is draw this, and I'm going to give you 3 minutes only. So you're going to have to go quickly, but that's good. We're going to get you out of your inner censor, your sort of sense of perfectionism. You can look at both the drawing and your paper, and I'm going to ask you to give your subconscious mind a job, and that is this. As you're sketching, ask your subconscious to answer this. When I think of my ideal reader, what am I desperate for them to know? Okay. So on your mark, get set, go. You have 3 minutes and just play around. You're just connecting lines to curves. You're not drawing a hat and a pipe. You're just connecting lines and curves. Go, AJ, girlfriend.
This is not a hat with a pipe, but it's okay.
Hey, girl.
That's the best I can do.
That looks fantastic.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm going to pin you. Hold it back up there.
Okay.
Girl, that's fabulous. What are you talking about?
I don't know, Susie. I think your version of fabulous and mine. But I do know I do not have an answer for your question when you're ready. But thank you. That was helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. So keep drawing for 1 more minute if you need it. This is not about the outcome, even though, as we've seen, you might draw something fabulous that you love. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. We are after the subconscious to open up to us. When I think of my ideal reader, what am I desperate for them to know? Okay, now flip that beautiful work of art over, and I am going to give you 2 minutes in bullet style. So you're going to write like the wind. You're not going to censor, you're not going to overthink it. It doesn't even have to make sense. But what has your subconscious sort of dug around and surfaced for you? What are you desperate for your ideal reader to know? So write. Okay. I would love to hear from a couple of people about number one, what it felt like in your body to just sketch something. And number two, what came up for you that maybe surprised you in terms of your response to the question? Anybody want to jump in? Jump into the center of the frame here? Oh, Marlena, you get a gold star and an invitation to share. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Here, I'm going to pin you.
Marlena, do you want to share? Come off mute.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to speak or post, but um, my message is that college-bound students should start their applications right now, not because time is so short, bad, don't procrastinate, but because if they see the end, they will know where they are going.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And what was it like to um, sort of enter that portal of thinking about your reader through a sketching exercise? How did that feel in your body?
Deep relief. The
Interesting.
sketching for me, I sketched lines, and it seemed clear to me that the volume of the pipe bowl was like the volume of the hat, and that the curves were joyful. So it helped me to relax. And then when I had the insert site about what's distinctive about my way of advising college applicants, it was a deep relief, and I felt it in my diaphragm because I suddenly was breathing differently.
Very cool. Holy moly, I've got the chills. Thank you.
And I lived in Paris for 3 years, so I
Oh,
may see you there
girl,
too.
we're going to have a big old party. I'm going to tell you that right now in the sixth arrondissement. Okay, thank you. Does anyone else want to share? Wave at me so I don't miss you. Okay, Joe.
All right, so you want to see the photo?
I
Is
would
that
love to. Oh, woohoo! Look at that.
it looks more like a sombrero than a bald hat.
It looks great.
So yeah, so as I was writing, thinking about your question, just with the way that I write, I'm always this is what came. The cloud that people see before them is paper thin. They just need to walk through. What they perceive to be a storm cloud is just a napkin of vapor. The other side is closer than you think. So that was where it was coming from.
Ooh, that's
I
beautiful.
drop.
I love it. Thank you. That is very poetic and rich with imagery. Love it, love it, love it. And here's something that I want to point out. In both of these examples, we can feel Joe's and Marlena's energy. We can feel them. So imagine the difference between chasing how everybody else is marketing. And somebody put in the chat earlier that they can't do social media. Um, if that ain't your bag, that you can delegate, but focus on this part that no one else can do. This part is what really lands and resonates with your audience. And this is the secret to marketing in a way that's in alignment with who you truly are. And it is the easiest path because it's the path you're going to naturally do, and you're going to see the ROI on it immediately. So thank you. I'm going to turn it back over. I would love to do this for 3 more hours,
Right?
but I'm going to turn it back over to AJ so she can keep on with the program.
So at the start of this, you might have said, why did we go from a checklist to drawing an upside down hat? And the reason is just the evidence is in what Joe and Marlena shared. when you sit down to write copy for something that's marketing related and you decide, I'm just going to sit down and write that, you're going to have a completely different experience than the one you just had. You were working on marketing copy without realizing it. And I wanted you to have that experience before we did the next thing, because we're going to talk about your Amazon listing. And Amazon's the big kahuna, but I just mean your book listing. It's going to show up the same way on Amazon as it shows up on Barnes and Noble, as it shows up on an indie bookstore site. It's the metadata for your book, and it's going to cross all those platforms. So I'm just using Amazon because, at least for the moment, it's still where the vast majority of books are sold, especially if you're looking in the nonfiction space, especially business books, etc. So I think we get a little too wrapped up in our nerves about our book when we write Amazon listings or write our book listings. I think we try and use too many superlatives and adjectives and everything we can think of to make it sound like people should read the book because we feel nervous about it. And by doing that exercise with Susie, you can get at the heart of what you're trying to do and also the main point. So I want to show you a couple of listings that I think are important. Um, I'm a big fan of Bard Press and Todd Statterson, who does a lot of research about just the nitty-gritty of things like listings. And I want to show you some simple things. So I see a lot of people do book listings that will at the top say, an endorsement. I get that you might be proud of your endorsement, but it's not actually the thing you want to put it in the bold in the top. Here, you see this one says, what's your one thing? That's sort of message related. Here's Atomic Habits, tiny changes, remarkable results. What you want on my own listing, it has my core message. A book is not about something, a book is for someone. If you go to my listing, and that's in bold. Instead of just going into the listing or putting your big endorsement that you're super proud of, I want your message there. That's still the most important thing in bold in the top. Then, if you have had any major accomplishments since your book came out, I do think that's also worth putting. And I'm not talking endorsements, and I'm not talking awards that, awards within the industry. It builds credibility. It's impressive, but the average reader doesn't really know about them, you know? So it's not really going to influence the sale. So I wouldn't put that there. But of course, we can't all be Mr. Clear. But is this worth putting here? Yes. Over 20 million copies sold. That's why does that matter to a reader? Oh, people must like that, you know? So if you don't have, look, we can't be, the world is not going to accept a bunch of James Clears, but you might have a statistic that's really is meaningful to your audience, you know? I write with Mike Michalowicz, and he's sold, I don't know where we are with Profit First now. I feel like it's 1.5 or 1.7 million. But what he'll talk about is how many people are using it. And that could be a statistic that you could put. And if you don't think the number is impressive, do a percentage. That might be more impressive than a number. So at the top, you definitely want that core message of your book that you want to get across and put it in bold. And then if you have an accomplishment like that, Sue Barber, I'm isolating you because I know you have your book out, but you might not have big stats, but I happen to know from you telling me that you have people who will not part with your book, that they carry it everywhere with them. So you could come up with something like that. Do you know what I mean? To
Yep.
update.
Yep.
So then what I want you to do is, and this is on the checklist as well. I want you to be really focused so you can identify the problem right out of the gate, and that you have a bulleted list of what people can expect from the book. Okay? Is the problem clear? Is your solution clear? And do you have a bulleted list of specifics they can expect from the book? Now, I'm using this one because this book's the one thing has been out for a while, and now here are some cool stats about it that were added later. Okay. This has been updated. Most people never update their Amazon listing ever. So I want you to go ahead and do that. Um, and then I want to point out that I hope if you don't have A plus content that you'll get it. This A plus content is you can do it yourself if you're self-publishing, but your publisher will do it for you if you ask them. That's this right here, this detailed work, which is often, here's some cool stats about the book, but it could be your endorsements. Mine actually has the reader transformation sequence in it. That was important to me. I wanted to give value in the A plus content. So I want you to, do you have A plus content or not? You need to add it. That's important for your Amazon listing. Do you have trade reviews? Pull quotes from trade reviews. Kathy Onetto is a workshop alum. Her book came out yesterday, Sustainable Ambition. She just got the most killer Kirkus review, which is hard to do because they can be awful. Like your pull quotes should be in here, your endorsements should be here, your updated bio. Okay. Um, is your Amazon listing working for you or not? You know, you need to update it. You need to make sure that you're strong about the problem, you are strong about the solution, and you have a bulleted list of the benefits of that book. So let's see, I want to check on time real quick. I would love now using it at, if you want to, can they draw the hat again, Susie, or should they draw something else while they're working on their listing?
So, I think it would be fun to take 1 minute to do a blind contour drawing, which means pick something on your desk. Could be your car keys, a book, whatever, your left hand or your right hand. And I'm going to give you 1 minute to sketch whatever you have selected, but you're not allowed to look at your paper. You're only allowed to look at the thing that you have chosen. Okay. So 1 minute, and it's impossible to make this right because you're not looking at your paper. But just sink into your body and again open up your subconscious. Say, hey subconscious, let's come up with some juicy stuff for the Amazon listing. So go. Okay. They are primed and ready to go, AJ.
Okay, so now I want you to just make a bulleted list of the specific benefits of reading your book, and it will build on what Susie asked you before. What are you desperate for your reader to know? But I want you to make, by specific, I don't mean um, calm and peace of mind or just vague general things. Be really, really specific. What will they exactly, how will they exactly benefit after reading your book? Okay. So now I'd love to see, has anybody, do you have maybe want to share three of the benefits? Someone raised their hand. Some benefits you came up for your book. Jane.
I put when you get good at sales, you get better at life, increase self-discipline in all areas of your life. You'll have fun doing something you never thought would be fun, and you'll have an overall increase in confidence and perseverance.
Okay, I think that's great. Now, what I want you to do once you've made that list is to cross-check to make sure those are the benefits that people are looking for in the language that they would use, right? One thing that we forget when we're doing a listing is we usually put what we want for people, our interpretation of the problem, and a list of things that we think we want them to have. But they might not actually identify in that language because they might be looking for something else. So, for example, Jane, are they looking for a certain, so you're writing about sales?
Yeah.
Are they looking for a certain sales conversion? Are they looking for better, a certain dollar amount? Are they looking for better deals? So you need to include it. Do you need to include something that does speak to something that they want in addition to these other things?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. We are always going to come up with a list at first of what makes sense to us.
Yeah.
And then we need to think about what makes sense to our reader and what's calling to them. Of course, we want to be genuine, right? We're not going to make promises we can't keep. We're not going to list benefits they don't get. Okay. So Amazon listing, that's a big way that you can improve book sales. Are you going to be able to track it exactly? You tweaked your Amazon listing and now all of a sudden your sales shot up? No, it's not going to be like that. But these little things start to improve sales. Again, all we're talking about today is very simple things to get started. The other thing you want to think about is your keywords. And it's important that if you are working with a publisher, that you talk to them about this because you will think that they most of the time aren't even going to be talking to you about it, quite frankly. So you have to ask them about it. Um, Keywords are really, really important on Amazon, especially less of an issue on other sites. So you want to make sure that your book is listed in the categories that make the most sense, where it can be competitive with other books. And even when your book sells really well, it might not be competitive in those categories because you're in the wrong categories. And it's a simple thing that you can do to ask Amazon to change your categories. There's some resources at the end of the document, and one of them is Publishers Rocket. And I am a big advocate of Publishers Rocket, which they track the algorithm and can tell you which are your best categories based on your book. So you can tweak that as you need to, and you can ask Amazon to change it whenever you want. I mean, I wouldn't change it every week or anything because you want to be able to track it, but you also don't want to leave it up to chance. So this is also another way that you can improve sales. If your book is showing up on best of lists, top 100 lists for your category, that is helpful. Do you want to add anything about that, Susie?
I would just say that it's really nice to get a Sherpa to help you with Publishers Rocket, even though it's dead simple. Sometimes, if you have a wingman or a wingwoman to spot things with you, because we're so close to our books, and other people can say, "Hey, I see a strategy that might look like this." So that could be a VA, that could be a friend, that could be, somebody else who's looking at it with you, I think is very helpful.
Yes, I agree. So Susie and I were inspired to do just a brush up on this um, today, but also to talk to authors on. I know a number of you are new and don't have your books out yet, but we see so many authors who have books out in the world that are just freaking brilliant and low book sales, and there are a lot of frustrations about that. So last fall we put our heads together. I actually texted Susie and I said, "Hey, what do you think? Let's get on a call because what I know about Susie, and you just got a baby taste of it. What I know about Susie is that she has this ability to get us unstuck when we're trying to navigate all of the business around authorship, it's really important to um, tap into what's true for us and to tap into our creative energy, because otherwise we're just selling the book the way everybody else does, and we're just in that vast sea of noise, and it's depleting and it's demoralizing and it's disappointing, and I didn't intend for that to be alliteration, but all of those things are true. And so I asked Susie to chat with me about it, because I thought, well, what if we combine what I know about improving book sales from a practical standpoint? And again, I just gave you the teeniest, easiest stuff that you can knock out today, but there's a lot more to talk about. Um, and her unique ability to help us get unstuck. So we actually created a retreat, which we're going to do this September. It's virtual. It's not in person, and I'm hoping you'll give us just 5 minutes to talk about that, and then we'll close, and I'm going to give you a few other little boost things that you can do that are simple. They're not time consuming. So I'm just going to, I think I was going to do a little slide thing, but I just want to show you this. I think I'm just going to show you this page. And then Laura Sade, if you can put it in the chat, that would be amazing. Okay. So this is, we decided to create this event and work together beyond the launch, igniting momentum for your book success. And we're doing this September 25th through the 27th. It's 2.5 days. It's virtual and on Zoom. This is for folks who have a book that came out and might not feel excited about that, might feel disappointed in the sales, might feel like they missed the chance, might feel like they don't know how to get it back, get the momentum back, and what should they do? And so we working together to create this. It took us about what, 6 months to come up with our plan. Yeah. So this is the retreat breakdown. We're going to be talking about debunking book launch myths and reframing the experience, what happened with the book launch, what actually occurred, and what you can control going forward. We also are going to talk about book sales goals, and I have a unique strategy for this, which actually I shared with my publisher, Page Two, and I was surprised that they wanted to know more about that. But I have a way to figure out what your sales goals should be so that it's not arbitrary. And I'm going to be walking you through that. Um, Susie will help you create a vision for book sales that feels authentic and achievable. And then we're going to do the book marketing tree, which is how I like to think about book marketing, with all the different branches and the things that you need to think about simultaneously. Susie will be walking you through reviving and reinventing your book's presence, breathing new life into it. And it could be maybe you need to do an updated edition, or maybe you just need new content. Maybe you need a new cover. It could be simple. Susie will also be working on combating limiting beliefs and mastering mindset. Then we'll be bringing it all together, bringing creativity back into your strategy, and creating a personal, artful, actionable plan. I'm so excited about the plan part. So this is a 2.5 day retreat. The price is 6,500. The early bird rate is 5,000. If you are a part of the top three community, it's 4,500. And we have the most amazing early bird goodies. Oh my gosh. Do you want to go through these, Susie?
Sure. So I have selected a surprise gift that will blow your mind, and I'm not going to say any more about it, except it's it's so great you just will flip out. I also have created a new masterclass, which will be included if you are within the early bird window. And this is a masterclass that I made that's called Idea Alchemy, the Ultimate System for Note Taking. So I wanted to learn the best of the best from everyone from Ryan Holiday to Robert Greene to Woody Allen to all kinds of greats from the Stoics, etc., as to how we take things like commonplace methods and Zettelkasten methods and all kinds of fun analog tools to really delve into a whole brained approach to note taking and mining that for content creation, as well as marketing, as well as new book content, etc. So those are the two. And then AJ, why don't you talk through the rest because the other ones are too small for me to read.
That's all right. I'm gonna do for the early bird people, I'm gonna do a complete audit of your current book listings and website for book sales optimization. I'm gonna do the audit myself. Then you're gonna get a group call, the follow up with Susie and I to brainstorm strategies after the retreat. And you get a 30-minute private one-on-one with my marketing coordinator Sade, who is amazing and thinks of things you would never think about. That's all for early birds. If you have questions, we'll send out an email about this as well. There's a link in the chat if you're interested in this. Obviously, a bunch of you are just getting started, and I don't think we made it for folks who are just getting started, but I don't think that you can't come. I mean, it's a way of looking at marketing in a way that is completely outside of the box, thanks to Susie.
AJ, just want to interject something that was coming to me a minute ago. The practices and the exercises and all of the ideas that we're going to be taking you through and the experiences that you're going to be going through will help to surface and refine your own unique point of view, your own unique message, and help you not only articulate that better, but amplify it. So I do think that there's a great opportunity for you to learn lots of things that apply during the book writing process and the marketing process and how to tie those two things together so that your book leads into natural marketing streams that are totally authentic and actionable for you.
Yes, it's a blend of Susie's magic and my it's practical magic. Practical magic. I do want to thank you, Susie. Thank you all for listening to that. We're so excited about it because there's nothing like it. It's just we cooked it up. We cooked it up together to try and really help because I cannot stress how frustrated I get for folks when they've worked so hard on the book and then they get to the end and the marketing feels really hard, or 6 months out or a year later, they think, well, my book didn't sell as well as I thought. So this is the train of thought. Maybe it isn't as good as I thought. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe it's just going to be for a few people and I need to be fine with that. Total BS. Okay. I just don't subscribe to that. When people say, Matt, I'm just happy if it only helps one person. I love that. And I'm glad that you all want to help. But do you understand that book sales translate to helping more people? Like, we have to care about book sales. And it's not evidence that your book isn't good just because the sales are low. It just means you might need to make some changes. And there's a lot involved in selling a book. It's, my gosh, a lot. So I think what I love about working with Susie on this is just getting out of the rut. Just get out of the rut so that you can create something that's actionable and doable for you. A few other little quick boost things that I want you to, so take that cheat sheet because again, I only wanted to give you simple stuff today. BookBub, okay? Go get a BookBub deal if you can. If your book is already published, this is the primary use, although BookBub does have stuff for frontlist authors if that's of interest to you. You want to make sure that your book has has enough reviews because they do make an editorial decision, so they're not going to choose your book if you have 0 reviews or low reviews. Or if the reviews are less than 4 stars. Okay, so those things do matter. But what BookBub will do for you if they choose you is they will send your book out as a discounted offer. You choose the amount. I recommend free or 99 cents. And then you will get, no joke, thousands of downloads of the Kindle version of your book. You can work with your publisher to set this. It's a tremendous opportunity to boost book sales. And there is a fee for it, but in my experience, especially when I was a publisher, it pays for itself and then, many times over. BookBub, easy way to boost sales. Here's another easy way. Do a simple challenge that's based on your book. One simple challenge, okay? Not the whole book, all right? One small thing that you can get people to do over a weekend or a week or 2 weeks. And the cost of it is buying a book. The cost of it is buying a book. That's it. Make it so easy, low entry point, and do challenges every quarter. You will do a different one. You will have such a boost in sales. That is an easy one, and I don't know why more people don't do it. One of the things that's really effective is doing joint webinars with other people who speak to your audience. Your authors are your peers and friends. They are not your competitors ever. So reach out to people and do a joint webinar where you're pulling together your networks. So you're not just relying on the same network, like you mentioned, Katie, right? Katie, go out with other people who might not have your same network. Do a joint webinar, a joint panel discussion, and then the books, you're going to sell all your books on that webinar. That can give you a jolt, a little bump in sales. They don't have to be thousands. They can be 20 books, 40 books, but you start to do this stuff on the regular, it really helps. And Amazon likes it when you have these regular bumps. Does everyone have a bulk buy and custom buy offer on their website? You do, Katie? Yes, I'm happy you have that. But a lot of people don't, or they just have the bonuses for launch. Have you ever thought about what your bonuses are going to be ongoing? People do bonuses for launch. You can have an evergreen bulk buy bonus, especially if the bonus is delivered digitally. Simple things can be if you buy my book, a couple copies of my book, I'll give you this free download of something, right? Or here's a private podcast, or here's a video I did that's only available to people. But we tend to have these bonus offers at launch and then we don't have any after. So these are simple ways that you can continue to have little bumps. And that's what it is a bump here, a little boost, little boost, little boost because we need more people reading our must-read books. And when we get to a tipping point, eventually sales will just happen that you don't know where they're coming from. And why is that happening? Because people are reading your book and telling people about it. But we need a bigger group. Um, okay. Let's see. I'm getting a couple of questions about challenges, sample challenges. It would depend on your topic. I have a really long challenge going on right now, which is summer writing challenge. That's for the whole summer. But if I wanted to do a shorter one, I could do a week-long writing challenge, or I could do a book marketing challenge that would be for, say, a month, where there's certain things that you have to do. You might have seen some of those LinkedIn challenges where people are doing one post a day and everybody's participating in it. Susie, have you done any challenges?
I'm actually going to do one this fall, and I'm going to do it over the course of 5 days. And we're going to take one of the M's for each of the days. So the 5 M's will be spread out over the course of Monday through Friday. And it's just a little bite-sized morsel to
Mm-hmm.
give people a quick win, a little bit of quick clarity, a little bit of quick momentum, so that they can sort of champion it and hang in there the whole week and then see the results, which are going to be super powerful at the end. And that will launch them to be able to have the confidence to go forward on their own.
Yeah. So we think book marketing, that's why I wanted to do simple strategies. We're worried about the whole thing. I need 6 months to do my website. I need to do a whole program. I need to do my whole class before I can list anything. I need all my ducks in a row. No, you could do a challenge tomorrow. You could do a challenge tomorrow. It could be the simplest thing. You don't need to have a whole thing set up. You don't even need a sales page for it. Just get going. And then you can have a little bump. And every time you have bumps in sales, it benefits you. You have more readers, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. We are at time, but I'm going to stick around for a few minutes to answer questions if anyone has them. Does anybody want to ask me any questions about little book sale boosts that you can do? We're good.
I have
Yeah,
one.
Sue. Yeah.
So I wanted to change one of my categories on Amazon, but it looked, I don't know, the way it sounds is complicated. I tried Rocket. I thought it was a little, maybe when I look at stuff it'll be easier, but it felt like I might lose something by changing it. And I don't know if that's true or not. Like whatever other has already been purchased under that category, is that going to be a problem if you move it? I guess that's what I was trying to understand.
Can you ask me in a different way? What, what do you
So
think you're losing?
I don't know if I am, but well, you know how it has the three categories and it's
Uh-huh.
got a number assigned to that, right? So is that a big deal? Maybe it's
I mean,
not.
the BSR, the bestseller rank?
Yeah. Does that
Oh, well, that
do
changes
anything?
it changes every 3 hours.
So
The
it doesn't matter.
BSR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. It's going to be better if you have a better category.
Yeah, I think it will too. So, okay.
Yeah, don't worry, don't stress over that. Susie?
Sue, I would just suggest too to keep a record of where you are with the current ranking. Of course, it is going to change constantly, but it's interesting to see when you change one, what ripple effect that has. So it might be more interesting to change one of them at a time for a couple of weeks, see what that does, change another one, and just track those numbers. Because if you do them all at once and you don't have a control, you don't know what
Right.
was the thing that might have made the difference.
Okay. Good little
And
research experiment.
I would also, Sue, this is not a thing to do in a vacuum. It's not like you change the categories and magic happens. You need to change the categories and then do another and do a boost and then see. It's
Got it.
multiple things at the same time,
Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. And categories matter, when you're doing a big push. If they, if you're not doing any pushes, uh, don't stress too much about it. And I like what Mike Michalowicz always says about the orange flag, that says bestseller. It's not about getting that bestseller status because honestly, unless it's number one overall or top 100 overall, it doesn't have a lot of meaning, but it does influence sales when you have the flag on the listing. And if your categories are correct, you are more apt to have the flag on the listing. So that's the point. It's not so that you can be a bestseller all the time, because that could only mean a few books, right? But
Yeah.
it's so that that flag is on the listing. And when people click on it, it inspires confidence in them. And they say, oh, it's a really popular book. Okay. And it makes them want to buy it. That's the only reason, Sue.
Got it. Okay.
You need to pair that with other activity.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Anyone else want to ask a quick question? Okay. I will also point out that I'm always doing little free things like this. So I hope that if you're not on the mailing list, that you will get on it and that you will also join Susie's mailing list. And we also have a bunch of free stuff up on my YouTube channel with helpful advice. And I gotta say, if all you did was listen to Don't Write That Book podcast, you would probably have the education you need to be successful as an author. So lots of free opportunities for everybody. Okay. Thanks for coming today, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.